The Chrysler Crossfire. They only made about 76,000 of these total or so. And you don't see them very much anymore. But it's Sunday, so that's not why we're here. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. This is the sunny Sunday Rant. And I wanted just to ask a question today. Not about a Chrysler Crossfire, but about trucking companies and why you think it is that when companies, become bigger, when they turn into a corporation, I could look kind of weird, don't I? I look weird anyway. So why do they turn stupid? Why do they turn stupid? I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of the stupidity of these companies. So let me tell you a story of what happened at work. So I work at a large place. And I like the benefits. That's why. So you get a lot of benefits that you wouldn't get at a company that has 2 trucks. I don't know. We don't have any benefits. So that's the story there. But we've been doing this job. I've been doing this new job for 4 or 5 months now, I guess. And they come up and the boss comes up, who's 29, which we'll relate back to that in a minute. And he's been in trucking like 8 months, never drove or anything, business degree, whatever. And he comes up with the brilliant idea, hey, you guys, we're going to start wearing a harness. All right. Isn't that great? See, every once in a while, sometimes we have to climb up a ladder it's mounted to the trailer. Okay, that it's mounted on the trailer already. And not all the time, but sometimes you may have to take a couple steps up on it. And he's like, oh, we can't have everybody doing that. Probably some corporate ding-dong said something to him, pinhead. So everybody's going to have a harness on. And one guy's like, where are we going to clip that to or whatever? Because this is big contraption. Oh, you just clip it on the ladder. And I thought, I already know. You can't clip it on the ladder. So, and this is the power of sticking together. I'm like, all right, so whatever. So he leaves and we're all grumbling about it. I said, look, don't worry about this, right? We're going to take care of this. And I don't know why I always get to be a shop steward somewhere. I wish there was a union so I could actually be a shop steward. I need to go to work at a union company to actually do what I'm doing. So I said, look, don't worry about it. We're not going to wear this harness. I said, already, we can't do that. So I'm going to look this up because I want to be totally informed on what we got to do here. So when he brings the harnesses in, in a couple days or whatever, I told everybody, look, let me talk to this. Let me talk to him. All right. First off, all right, don't say stuff. I just love this. So he brings them out and it gives them to us. And I'm like, wait a minute. We got to be, I don't know how to put this on. You got to show us how to put this on. Remember, we're being paid for all this. Like I always said, as soon as you come in, you sign in, everything is paid. Meetings, all that, whatever they talk to you about, paid. So to get everybody fitted, I said, go through each person. Let's fit everybody. So we got all fitted. And that took a little over an hour. All right. Now, and I told him, I go, see, this is the unintended consequence of safety, which is you're wasting a lot of time on something that we don't need. Oh, this is safe or whatever. And I'm like, all right, now that we're all fitted, where do we clip this? Oh, you just like clip it on the ladder. Where I go, no. You see, I'd looked all this up by now. And now I know all the harness regulations for OSHA. All right. You can't clip it to the ladder, which I already knew. I'm like, you can't. I go, that's a violation. The idea is if the ladder falls off, you're clipped to the ladder and you fall off. I said, so you can't do that. He goes, well, just wrap it around and clip it to itself. I go, you can't clip it to itself. What are you talking about? I said, that's totally not allowed. I said, in fact, there's a couple of interesting things about clipping off. Like I said, on a mobile unit, you have to be clipped from above. Isn't that interesting? Because they don't want the mobile unit, whatever it is that you're mobile, it says, to drive away or be pushed away if you're on a cart or something, and then you fall off it. So you have to be clipped above it. So if it leaves, you hang there. All right. So he goes, oh, I don't know about that. I go, well, I do know about that. And I said, and what I also know is that an employer has to provide prompt rescue for you in case you fall. He goes, well, everybody has my cell phone number. I go, well, we are not required to have a cell phone. Isn't that interesting? So you as the employer, because it's very specific, have to provide a way to contact somebody so that we can get a prompt rescue. I'd say a radio would be a good way to do it. I go, but that's up to you. You could have 2 of us go with, one person wait for the next person so that holds up progress as well. Whatever you want to do. And, this is where corporations go off track. I don't understand this kind of thing. In a small place, I got to believe if there was somebody that had 10 trucks or 15 trucks or something, they would just say, just go do your job. We hired you to do it, so just go do it. And that's all I want from a place. I don't know. Well, I got to have some 29-year-old micromanage me with some harness when we've already been doing this job, by the way, for a while. And look, I said, look, so until you provide these things, nobody is going to wear this harness. And he looked at everybody and they're all just like kind of kicking the ground with their toes or whatever. So either way, nobody has been wearing the harness. He goes, well, I'll have to talk to safety about those kind of rules. I go, well, you talk to whoever you want. I go, have them call me. Maybe I can discuss with them the rules that they don't understand, kind of the way you don't understand them. I said, you have well over 100 years of experience just between the few of us that are here in trucking, and you come in here and want to impose something rather than talking to us about it. This is the difference between being a boss. We're going to impose something and get a lot of pushback, and being a manager where you have a good idea and let's talk through it with the employees, see if they can give even better ideas on how to be safe. Oh, you got would have been better is, hey, you guys have been working in trucking for a long time. What do you think about this? Since I'm new into trucking, that'd be a lot better idea, I think. Because the way he did it, now we got to put the squeeze on him, and we're not doing it. And I know people say, well, a company can do whatever they want. Well, in fact, they can't do whatever they want. Okay, so when there's some kind of regulation or law we can use to our benefit, they can't do whatever they want. Problem is, nobody will stand up and say anything to them. They just say, oh, well, a company said it, so I guess I have to wear this goofy thing. You don't. In this case, there is no way that they're going to come up with some kind of overhead thing and provide a way to contact them. There's no way. Ironically, years ago here, they did used to give you a cell phone, which is pretty funny. Now that they stopped that many years ago, though. That would have been one way to do it. Although, I don't know, I'd gripe about that too, because what if you're in an area that doesn't have a good signal? I think a radio is better. Still, regulations are regulations. And I said, look, even something stable, because I'd looked all this up, right? The clip point has to only be to clip onto. That's it. It can't be anything else. I go, so it has to have its own point. It has to be professionally installed, which is on there. And I said, and I want to know who installed it. I want to see who installed it. It's because it's got to be installed. It's got to be inspected to make sure it holds and everything. So I want to see all that before I clip onto it. And he hasn't said word one about them since he skulked off that day. And yeah, are they going to do something to me about it? I don't think so. Because the other side, I guess the flip side of a corporation is there are people higher up than him that love to hear about this. They have a whole department dealing just with OSHA regulations and would love to hear that some low-level dingleberry manager is making people do stuff that's unsafe. But the bigger picture is what happens? Where does a company go? What's the size of a company where it goes from, hey, you're experienced, just go do your job, to, hey, you're experienced, so I'm going to put somebody who has no experience in charge of you and tell you how to do your job. Where's that line? What's the cutoff of that? Because what I'd like is a place, because I don't think, after all this, and I change, and now I got to deal with the same stupid garbage again, I don't know if I'd ever work for a big place again just because of this. I see, the point of a place where they say, here's a truck, here's your job, go do it. Because if they would say that here, they'd never hear from me. Give me a decent truck, good pay, and a job, and I'll just go do it all day. At the end of the day, go, well, I'm done for today, see you tomorrow. It could just be that simple. I don't know why there has to be all this intervening, stuff. Either harnesses or, waking you up, like you don't know how to wake yourself up, sending the police to wake you up, to do a check on you, and all these other dumb, stupid things. Track you, camera you, watch you 24 hours a day, all that. Why does that have to happen? How was work done before all that technology? Did drivers have to call in every 45 minutes? Hey, I'm here now. Now this is the place. Or did people just go out and do their job? Where does a corporation go from being smart to being stupid? Because all the wasted time on something that doesn't make any sense. So if your company is doing something to you that you don't like, you don't have to just do it. Okay, you do not have to just take it. You can be a doormat or you can be a boot. So go be a boot. Go look stuff up and go push back on them. Do not tolerate garbage from a company when it's stupid, when it doesn't make any sense. And he came and talked to me later. He goes, look, I just want everybody to be safe. I go, I understand that. And believe me, I said, I don't want to fall off a trailer either. I want to be safe too. But this thing restricts your movement. And I said, you'd have been much better off asking us about it. Coming up and saying, hey, what do you think about this? And maybe we'd give you feedback on something else you could do that might be better or not as good or whatever. But just to impose something, I said, you're going to get a lot of pushback, at least from me, if not everybody else. I'm not going to tolerate it. Simple as that. I'm not going to stand there, put on a stupid harness when there's nowhere to clip it to. Because initially he was like, well, we still got to wear it. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's proof positive of how dumb that kind of thing is. Why would you wear it if you're not going to clip it anywhere? It's just for show. And I said, we're not going to do stuff for show so that you can boost your corporate career and move up through the ranks because you want to just move up and say, look at all the things I'm doing for safety. I said, that's not going to work here. That is not going to fly. I'm not going to let that happen. This is what I do, I said. And I started driving before he started living, which is true. He's 29, right? So I had already been driving. I've been closing in on 500,000 miles probably when he was born. So I'm just not going to tolerate somebody coming in and doing that. And you shouldn't either. Okay? And it doesn't have to be a union. Although it's not a bad idea. But as people say, well, they can get corrupt. That's true. But if there's something you don't want, get some people and stand up and say, we're not doing it. And here's why. Not just we don't want to do it. Okay, which we don't. But there are regulations that they also have to follow. And they cannot ask me to do something if they are also not going to follow these regulations for safety. They're going to be imposed on them, and I'm going to ensure that all of them are followed before I put that thing back on again. It's sitting in the truck in its bag, just sitting there where I put it. I said, and that's where it's going to stay until I get this overhead thing and all these other regulations are followed. Then we'll talk about it, because then you would not have a choice. But they're not going to do that. Okay, you're on it sometimes 2 minutes. All right, so that's the story today. Where do companies change from a decent place to bad? I guess it started by one person usually, and then they die, and it either gets sold to a private equity firm or something, or it gets so big that it's just bloated, or a family takes over and they're like, oh, well, I guess I better listen to lawyers because the only reason I'm here is because I'm family. I don't know anything about trucking, but I'm the spawn of the owner, and so I get to run this place. It's got to be one of those things. There can't be any other reason for it. So that's the story today on the Sunday Rant. I think we're going to go back and look at that crossfire because that is way better than putting on a harness. And my eyes are burned out from the sun. So thanks for watching. And don't forget about the podcast. We're going to put another podcast out, and we'll be back soon with another episode of Trucking Answers.